2, 3.
Good afternoon or good morning. This is Kujenga Elia Ashe. I'm a minister of the glad message, one of the high priests of the World Order of Melchizedek. But that may not mean a lot to you. But I'm here today to talk about the economic rights movement. The Holy Spirit works through human history. If you go back in America a number of years, we had the abolitionist movement. The abolitionist movement was one to get rid of slavery. During that time, there were over 20 million people in chains in America. And the abolitionist movement taught America how to get the chains off of people. Later, you had the Reconstruction movement, which put people on the land. After that, you had the Civil Rights movement, which allowed us access to the Great Society. Now, all three of those movements have come and gone. Now we're here to talk about the economic rights movement. The economic rights movement is designed to continue the march of the Holy Spirit through human history. You really can't talk about civil rights too much anymore for a president that people call a black president or an African American president. I would call him an Edenite. But civil rights has come to a head. Dr. Martin Luther King's dream has been recognized. Little white kids, little black kids go to school together. You can go to any college you want to. You can send your children to any college you want to if you've got the money, if you've got the funds. The problem is, my beloved people, we don't have the funds. We don't have the monies. Therefore, we need a new movement. Since the paradigm has shifted and there's a new day and a new age here in America and around the world, everybody's talking about money. Money, money, money. And not many people have money, or at least enough to make it. So now we come with the economic rights movement. Now, in order to do this, we need several projects. One of the projects that we're going to do is a gas buy-in, gasoline. The price of gasoline is so high, I saw a joke on the internet the other day. For regular, it said an arm. For mid-grade, it said a leg. For premium, it said your firstborn. And that's basically about the way the price of gas has gone.
Yeah.
I remember when gas was only $1.25 a gallon. But now the big major oil companies and the foreign oil companies have pushed the price through the ceiling, and it's going to continue to rise. Here's our opportunity. We launched the economic rights movement on May 1st at the University of Michigan. C.O.A.L, the Community Organization for Abundant Life, with Pastor Yosef and his lovely wife, Kava, my wife, Lene, Pastor Ephraim, Pastor Elisha, Pastor Tanzil and his wife. We launched the movement. Brother Bilal, Sister Rose, and a bunch of other people went to the University of Michigan to see President Barack Obama give the commencement speech. But we went there to launch the economic rights movement. We came through the rain, it hailed, it stormed. We got there, the clouds parted. And we marched, we rallied, and we marched, and we had a chance to talk with people about the economic rights movement. So that was May 1st, 2010 at the University of Michigan, right on the steps of the Student Union, right where President John F. Kennedy launched the Peace Corps 50 years earlier. Now today, we're in a position where we have an opportunity to deal with these gas prices. All we need to do is to go to the American gas companies. And there are only a handful, small American gas companies. We want to talk about Marathon, Sunoco, Speedway. There's a couple of small Canadian companies too, gas and oil companies. We'll deal with them. Canada's our neighbor right across the way, and they have some small companies. We need to buy from these companies. We're not going to use the other B word. We're not even going to talk about a boycott, the other B word. We're not going to talk about the major oil companies by name, the big fat cats. We're not going to talk about those that are based in in Holland or the Dutch area. We're not going to talk about the European ones, the British ones. We're not going to say anything about them. We're having a gas buy-in. We want to buy our gas from these small companies. Nobody can tell you what to do with your money. Do with your money what you want to do with it. We're not telling you what not to do. We're asking you to go to the small gas companies, American-based, and spend your money there. That will lower the gas prices if we continue to do this. Tell all of your friends. Have all of your friends tell all of their friends. Put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, put it on YouTube, put it on the internet. Talk to people on the phones. Go to your local churches, your local synagogues, your local mosques. And everybody needs to start talking about participating in the economic rights movement. The gas buy-in is a way to involve the whole nation. And no better place to start it than right here in Detroit. I'm right here today in the city of Detroit. I visited some local churches this morning to talk about the gas buy-in. We're going to buy in. We're going to keep everything positive. A lot of you might have saw the movie The Secret, which talks about the law of attraction. We're going to keep everything positive. We're not talking about anything negative. We're going to have peace rallies, not anti-war rallies. We're going to have peace rallies, gas buy-ins, bank save-ins. We're going to save our money in small credit unions and small banks. This is part of the economic rights movement. Part of that leads to reparations and repatriation. We have Chief C.O.A.L in C.O.A.L, or Israel as you call it. A lot of people like to go there to build farms, to live or just visit or vacation and come back to America. We need repatriation as well as reparations. We plan a gigantic march on July 4th, 2012. We call that the Perfection March. With this gas buy-in, we're going to get a lot of press, a lot of publicity. All we got to do is get people in large numbers to go to the small gas stations. We build on that and organize until July 4th of 2012, when we will go and march on Wall Street. The problem is we've been marching on the wrong W. We've been marching on Washington. Washington almost went broke the other night. We're tired of marching on Washington. They don't have the money. Wall Street has the money. We have to say to the corporate America and to Wall Street, you don't own America. You don't own us. You don't tell us what to do. We tell you what to do. Same thing that we tell the United States government. You don't tell us what to do. We are going to tell you what to do. We are the citizens. We are the people that do all the work. So we're talking about an economic rights movement. If you want to look at it in totality, you can talk about the holy, worldwide, spiritual human rights movement. That's what's been happening from the days of slavery on up to today. But right now, we're in the phase called economic rights. You have a right to have your own clean, organic food. You have a right to have your own income. You have a right to be sovereign, if that's what you want to be. You have a right to do things to keep your house, not to be put out of your house. You have a right to your economic freedom. You have a right to send your children to college. These are economic rights, fundamental human rights. Now people will say, well, you don't have a right to economics. Well, somewhere I read in a document something about having the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, if that's true, then we have a right to economic rights. So that's what I'm here to tell you today. I'm Minister Kujenga Elia Ashe. I'm asking you to participate with us, all of you in the churches, all of you in the synagogues, all of you in the mosque, all of you on the streets, all of you that are black nationalists, Pan-Africanists, all of you that are socialists or communists, all of you who want to put a cap on capitalism. I'm asking you to buy your gasoline from the small American corporations and the 2 small Canadian corporations. I'm asking you to tell all of your friends to only buy their gasoline from the small American corporations. There are a number of them. You can go on the internet and find out who they are. But basically, we are having a gas buy-in. This is part of the economic rights movement. If you can say civil rights movement, you can say economic rights movement. That's what we are. And we need to get our money. It's our money, and we want it now, as the old slogan goes. So we're here today to encourage your hearts to say in the Hebrew tongue, Yahweh, and don't be afraid when I say Yahweh. That just means in English, the eternal one, the one and only God who we praise. Yahweh is with us. Somewhere I read in 2 Chronicles chapter 7, if my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face, then will I hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sins and heal their land. If my people, upon whom my name is called, will humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and forgive their sins and heal their land. And this is where we are today, beloved. We're at the point now where we want to have the Perfection March on Wall Street in New York City on the 4th of July, 2012. We want to march starting at the Federal Reserve Bank, demand our gold, our silver, and our lands back worldwide, reparations and repatriation. Then we want to go down Madison Avenue, where all the fat cats live. Chief Amar C.O.A.L and Israel, or Israel, calls them capitalist pigs. And then we want to go to Wall Street and have our rally. You don't need to be afraid to do this. Michael Moore, the film producer, has went to Wall Street and did a documentary. He called it Capitalism, a Love Story. Michael Moore is a great modern day abolitionist, if you will. A great modern day economic rights movement guy. Although he doesn't know that term yet until we give it to him. But Michael Moore's been there. Young kids have been there. Excuse me. And they've been talking about we need to change the system. We need to put a cap on capitalism. You can call it bartering. You can call it scientific socialism. You can call it putting a cap on capitalism. You can call it communalism like in the Bible, in Acts chapter 2, Acts chapter 4, where everybody shared all the wealth in common. It's time that we teach America how to share the wealth. That's what we must do. Now, people may say, well, this is impossible. Well, a lot of people thought it was impossible to get the chains off of our wrists back during the dark days of slavery, the almost 400 years of slavery in this country. But the Almighty, the Eternal One, Yahweh in the Hebrew tongue, God, broke the back of America with a civil war with over 600,000 people killed. And we got our physical freedom. The same thing with the civil rights movement. People thought that we could never get our civil rights. But we got our civil rights. Dr. and Mrs. King, the Abernathys, and all the other people got together and started a civil rights movement. And we got our civil rights. We no longer have to have separate accommodations. We no longer have to not be able to go to the major universities. We no longer have to sit in the back of the bus. We can go to any college we want to if we got the money to go. We can send our kids to any college we want to if we got the money to send them. The problem is, my people, we don't have the funding. We don't have the money. Yet, we can spend $3 trillion in Iraq on an unjust war and kill all those folks there and kill our own children. And we can spend $2 million in Afghanistan looking for a man that may not even exist. But yet, we can't take those same funds and distribute it amongst the needy folks in our community. People are homeless. They're losing their jobs. They're sleeping on the streets. They don't have enough food to eat. They're still on welfare. They need child care. They need health care. They need all the things that people need. They need their economic rights. We need to own some factories in our communities. We need to own some farmland, grow our own food, so that we don't have to deal with these major corporations that are injecting the food with steroids and and cloning the foods with the DNA. We need to have our own farms. We need to have our own food in our communities.